We good?
Yeah.
Coffee number 2.
Welcome, SJ's Pod 6. Whatever you do, just make sure you stay on the horse, alright?
This episode is brought to you by caffeine.
Yeah, it's actually... I've always been such a strong advocate, you know me, I've always been such a strong advocate for not drinking caffeine. And then I thought I'll drink one a day. And I never wanted to be that 2 a day kind of guy. Because, you know, you don't need to. I just wanted to have one in the middle of the day when I was starting to fatigue, just to keep me going. And just been grinding hard AF lately. So I've just accepted I'm having 2 a day. That's it.
And it does help, I think.
Well, of course, yeah.
You don't feel good for it, but if you want to grind, I don't think it's not really healthy to grind.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why a couple of people aren't in the places they want to be in, because they're not willing to be unhealthy and grind.
Exactly.
You've got to make sacrifices for success, you know?
You do.
Success doesn't just drop from trees, you know?
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg said that.
Did he?
He sacrificed a few things.
Or what was his main sacrifice? Just stealing the idea of Facebook off 2 twins at his university?
Yeah, friendship.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So.
Yeah, I'm like stacking on these 10 plus hour days, 12 hour days, sometimes 14. Yeah, I need caffeine.
Need more time.
You need more time.
Need more time in the day.
Yeah, I really do need more. It's actually really frustrating, the fact that you work all day and then you'll look back and reflect and think, I haven't achieved what I wanted to achieve.
But the effort was there.
The effort was there, the amount of time you put in was there, but you didn't actually achieve what you needed to achieve.
Yeah, it is frustrating sometimes.
If there was a direct correlation between the amount of effort and time you put into something and then getting the results, that would be cool.
That would be good. But if you put in the effort, so I think a lot of time that's all that matters. Like,
no,
it does. Because like, if you go to bed and you're like, oh, I could have done more.
Yeah.
Like, are you happy?
That stings you, yeah.
But if you're like, yeah, I didn't get what I wanted to do, but okay, have a good crack.
Yeah, if you try your absolute best, there's not much more you can do, quite literally. It's just up to the universe then to...
Obviously, working efficiently is better than working for 10 hours and not getting what you wanted done.
Yeah.
But I don't know, there's a fine line sometimes.
But then also at the same time, nothing's about money really, but at the end of the day, everyone works for money. And I don't think money gives a shit if you work 10 hours hard. Like,
no.
It's not just going to go, oh, here, take shitloads of us because you worked hell hard. That's not how it works.
No.
So, yeah, I think it does matter. But that's it. Probably just going on a little bit of a ramble here because of the caffeine, but...
that's the beauty of caffeine, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good drop. It's a good drop. How's your body, mate?
It's pretty good. It's a bit tender. I went for a pretty big walk on the weekend. But it's weird because my obliques are a bit sore. Don't know why. Other than that, I'm fine. How about you? I actually said, how about you this time?
I know.
So we'll just acknowledge that.
Usually when this happens, I stare at you for about 7 seconds before I have to ask myself how my own body is. So we're making progress here. How's my body? It's not bad, excluding this one small finger. But yeah, besides that, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Do we want to explain how it happened?
Yeah, so I had a compound dislocation in my left hand ring finger. Freak 10-pin bowling accident.
Yeah.
So I didn't get a 300 game, but essentially, yeah, injured my finger and didn't really notice at the time, but about 20 seconds later it felt a little bit numb, so I looked down and yeah, my finger was bursted open, like at the knuckle, and there was a bone just not hanging out. The bone wasn't hanging out, but like you could see it was visible.
Yeah.
And I thought, fuck, all right, I saw enough of that. I saw 5 seconds and I was like, I kind of understand the severity and the intensity of this injury. So went off and drove myself to the hospital. Yeah. It's weird though, because I didn't know you could get compound dislocations.
Yeah,
I
something new.
I thought compound injuries were fractures. So my initial thoughts were, this is pretty bad.
Yeah.
But it was just a dislocation, so that's good.
We take the positive where we can.
Yeah, I'm not going to frame it as an objectively bad thing. It's just a thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's not
but
good.
you got looked after at hospital?
Yeah, I was on fentanyl.
Yeah.
Which was cool because obviously fentanyl is like a massive epidemic over in the States in terms of the addiction people have to it, and also, it's just such a big thing there at the moment, and it's killing a lot of people. So when they told me they were giving me fentanyl, I was like, this is cool because I'm going to experience fentanyl, but in a safe environment with trained, educated practitioners providing me with the drug.
Did you have that song in your head where it's like, life's good?
No, but I wish I did.
That would have been a good experience. Don't know that song, but it's by
Future.
Or A$AP Rocky.
Oh, Life's Good. Oh, I don't know.
I don't think it's actually called Life's Good, but it goes, life's good.
The song I had in my head, have you heard that song? And it's like, codeine got me tripping.
No.
That's all I could think of, even though it wasn't codeine. But it was good. They gave it to me, right? And they were like, you just sit down, like lay down for 10 minutes. Afterwards, they said, oh, we'll go walk to the other side of the hospital. Oh, are you okay to stand up? Like, are you off balance? And I was standing up and I was like, I'm completely fine.
No, that's good.
If anything, give me like 4 or 5 times the dose you just gave me. I want more.
Hit me up with more, eh? That's good, though.
But it didn't kick in straight away. It kicked in after like 30, 40 minutes. Like I was sitting there and then I was just kind of relaxed and feels like nothing. I was pinching myself and stuff and it, like you could feel the pinch, but it wasn't hurting. You could just feel it a little bit.
So you can see how people get addicted to it then?
Yeah, you know when you see people on the streets in America and they're like hunched over, like not feeling anything, just completely like dead?
Yeah.
That's because they're probably smashing heaps of fen.
Well, now you know.
Then they gave me a ring lock, which is when basically if one of your fingers or toes or anything needs surgery or is like in serious pain, they'll like stab needles into either side of the knuckle.
Yeah.
And just put in some liquid medicine that like completely numbs it. But I was laying there like on the fent just chilling and the nurses were talking next to me and they were like, he's still so sore and it's like a pretty bad dislocation. We should probably ring lock him. And then they paused and they looked at me and I was like, why the fuck did they just like look at me and stop talking after saying that? They were like, oh, you weren't meant to hear that, blah, blah. And I was like, what's a ring lock? They were like, oh, it just numbs your finger. And I was like, sounds pretty bad, like if you stop talking and looked at me and stuff. They were like, yeah, it's going to hurt a lot. So anyway, I was G'ing myself up for this ring lock because they literally made a massive deal about it. Another nurse came over and was like, oh, we're just going to give you a ring lock. Yeah, it's, you know, we have to. And I was like, fuck, this sounds like it's going to kill, man.
You'd expect the worst.
Like it stung a little bit, but not much. I was expecting way worse.
Was that before they popped it back in?
Yeah, I got 2 sets of ring locks. So they did it once and then they cleaned it out, like was sticking a needle in there and just like spraying it, and it was stinging, but it wasn't hurting that bad because of the ring lock. And then they did it one more time. And I'll put a video somewhere here or a photo of the finger and the injury. But
it was a bit bent.
It was bent, yeah. It was bent. And yeah, then 3 people popped it back in. It was really relieving. Yeah, it was so cool. Like, just 2 nurses were holding it back with they put like a pen type thing there, and they hold your finger because it lifts it. Yeah. All the tension on the ligaments and stuff like that kind of alleviates, and then you can just kind of pop it back in.
Yeah, right. That's good.
Yeah, and it was just like a big sound, popped it back in. It was fun, yeah.
And then you were just dreaming about your HJs?
Oh, I was craving. The whole time, I didn't even give a shit about my finger. I just was craving HJ so badly. And at the end of the night, I was there for like 5 or 6 hours. I got HJs at the end of the night, but it wasn't...
Didn't really hit the spot as you were hoping?
It didn't hit... It wasn't what I was longing... I was longing for the experience, and when I got it, I realised that it wasn't much, which is that it's that whole instant gratification in a nutshell. Yeah. You know, I got the instant gratification. I thought, this ain't it. Back to go. I'm going to go to bed and I'm going to wake up and do a bit of grinding.
Yeah. Oh. You did that?
Yeah, did that. And so traumatic compound injury, just backed that up on a public holiday on a Monday with 2 12-hour days. So.
And we're here on Tuesday.
Yeah, now we're here on Tuesday.
Chomp.
What's one training ideology you subscribe to but now move away from?
Yeah, so I was a big knees over toes guy.
Yeah, a couple people were at the time.
And a lot of people were. This was...
Whoever's saying that they didn't subscribe to that for a small period is lying.
So when you ask that question, like, the first thing that pops in my head is that, because this was kind of as I was... Before I kind of really tried to mainly studied, I was like, okay, I'm going to be a PT. And my knees were pretty crook. I was playing basketball at the time, and I stopped playing basketball due to my knees. But I wasn't doing any strength training, and I wasn't really worrying about load or anything. And then this dude just pops up. I found him from, what's that big podcast guy? Joe Rogan.
It's a big podcast.
He's a pretty big guy there. And then, just started doing the typical stuff, mate. It was mainly just his sled drags.
Yeah.
That was the main one that I did. I didn't really do a split. I just did normal split squats.
Yeah.
But that was easily, and I was just like, and then I just started feeling better. But to be honest, it's just probably because I was just doing my whole body training.
And you were probably dropping load a bit as well.
Yeah, I was dropping load. I was thinking about my training more. I wasn't playing basketball as much.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just that helped my knees. But yeah, and I still obviously train lower body, but I don't really do reverse sled drags. Not that I don't like them.
They're fine. They're good. They're actually a good way to get some load into knees. Not the best way, but they're a way. Like if you've got really crook knees, that's a good elementary entry level exercise that you can start to put load through your knees with.
Yeah. How about you?
One that I've subscribed to but now moved away from, probably everything has to be barefoot.
Yeah.
I used to go to the gym with no shoes and just train. Doesn't matter if it was upper body, lower body, which to be honest, I prefer. I just like walking around, not barefoot, but no shoes. But at the same time now, I just will wear shoes if I'm lazy. I can't be bothered taking them off for a specific thing. And if I don't need to take them off, I probably won't.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, I was like, you have to do everything barefoot. Why would you not do shit barefooted?
Yeah, I was similar with that.
Yeah.
Because I even got Vivos one time. Because I was worried about the whole toe boxing.
Yeah, I almost got Vivos as well.
How it kind of makes sense. Our feet are this wide, but then our shoes are so narrow.
No, they actually do make sense.
Yeah, and then I was like, it just makes sense to get Vivos. So then I got them, but then I started playing basketball, wearing Vivos, and then I remember one day I went back to normal basketball shoes.
It's way better.
It felt way better.
Yeah.
I was running better. My feet might be a bit worse off. I don't know, just because of the toes and all that, but basketball shoes are goated compared to Vivos.
Yeah, well, basketball shoes are designed to play basketball.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So...
You wouldn't use a guitar to make a piano riff, would you?
No, you wouldn't.
But then I don't subscribe to the whole... You know when you see people post and they're like, oh, LeBron James' feet are ugly as and gross and that's what feet look like. It's why can't you take care of your feet as well?
Yeah.
You can play basketball in basketball shoes, and then you can also walk around all the time on different terrains and surfaces barefooted. Why do you have to be on one group or the other?
But LeBron James probably just doesn't care. Do you reckon?
He cares about one thing, and it's being hell good at basketball.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what he's feet.
But people they're oh, but do you want your feet to look like this? But I don't think he could give a shit, could he?
Well, he does. Yeah, he just cares about basketball. He makes shitloads of money from basketball. He's got a legacy to uphold. So yeah, I think that's the last of his worries. But I really hate how people try to divide it into you're either in one group and you're just all about performance. You don't give a shit about what your feet look like or how they feel, or you're in a group where it's you can't wear narrow shoes. You've got to always be barefoot. Like, you got to wear toe spacers. You don't have to be... I'm in a group where it's like majority of my life, I'm barefoot. If I'm playing basketball, I'm wearing basketball shoes. If I'm playing footy... When you play footy, man, your feet are squished.
Footy boots are so narrow.
Yeah.
So narrow.
But they're made for performance and to be good at footy. So, yeah. Other training ideologies that I subscribe to but now move away from. When I was very young, I used to really believe in like the anabolic window, it is a thing. It's based off science, backed by research, but it's not that big of a deal. Whether you have your protein like
within
20 minutes after or like 2 hours after, as long as you don't get super hungry and don't have it.
I used to always do deloads.
Yeah.
When I first learned about deloads and what a deload is, and then it was just like every 4 to 6 weeks I'd have a deload.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually need one. I felt fine, but I just dropped the load by half.
See, that's probably an ideology that I didn't subscribe to, but now I do. And I'm not saying that I need deloads now and I prescribe myself deloads. I'm saying that back in the day I was just like go non-stop.
Yeah.
Nowadays I can't, so I need to have like a day off. A day off a week is a deload. That is a deload. You're deloading yourself for that day during the week.
Mine was more though that I'd just do it.
Yeah, every 4 to 6 weeks.
It was like set every 4 to 6 weeks. It wasn't based on how I was feeling. Like deloads are good. They're really good. But they don't need to be set on a structured time frame.
They don't need to be.
No.
But if that's the least of people's worries, like if you're worried about having a deload every 4 to 6 weeks and that having a negative impact on your gains and results, it's not.
No.
If anything, it will have a positive impact, but you just probably don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're probably not training hard enough to have a deload.
A quick word from our sponsors, us, SJs. We train, talk shit, and help you move better. You can do the same by checking out our 7-day free trial in the show notes.
Rep ranges for dummies. Obviously, people aren't super experienced in the gym, and some people that listen to this barely go to the gym or have trained before. So, in a nutshell, what are the rep ranges you should be using for what specific outcomes?
Want to go straight to it?
Yeah, why not?
The old school approach is what? 1 to 3 is power.
Yeah, 1 to 3, 1 to 5. Oh, 1 to 3 is power, yeah.
3 to 6 is strength.
Yeah.
6 to 15 is like hypertrophy.
Yeah.
Or whatever range you want to do. And then what? 15 and above, people used to say muscle endurance.
I've always thought 1 to 5 strength power, 6 to 12 hypertrophy, 13 plus endurance. That's what I've always thought.
And do you still live by that?
Yeah, I guess so. You can build, just because there's a rep range called hypertrophy, it doesn't mean that you can't build hypertrophy in the other rep ranges.
Yeah, 100%. Same as strength.
But yeah, I do subscribe to that ideology that that's probably the best rep range for building muscle, just like generally speaking. The best rep range for you to build muscle is probably the one that you haven't done.
Yeah.
So if you've just been doing 8 to 10 reps and you for like a 4 to 6 week block or like a 2-month block start doing 15 plus reps, you're going to provide your body with that novel stimulus, therefore like creating hypertrophy.
What feels bad for you? Because like obviously rep ranges aren't like the be all and end all.
Yeah.
Especially for like muscle growth. But what's a rep range you wouldn't do? Say if you're doing bicep curls.
I don't do bicep curls.
Wrong guy.
I don't train arms, cuz.
Lateral raises.
Oh, lateral. See, that's an interesting one because lateral raises I like to do no less than 10.
Yeah.
Whereas like a bench press, I don't like to do more than 8.
Yeah.
You'll never catch me doing like a 10 rep bench press.
It just feels weird, eh?
Yeah, it's usually like I'm usually working between like 4 to 6, sometimes 8, whereas like a lateral dumbbell raise, I'm usually working 12 to 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we should have probably explained like 1 to 5 strength and power. That's like specifically working on like pure speed, just pure power. So how much load you can literally move, how fast you can move it, stuff like that. The hypertrophy, which is commonly known as 6 to 12 reps, is like working on building muscle really, and really breaking down that tissue and building muscle. And then 13 plus was commonly known as endurance, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just always comes down to me like the exercise, obviously, because it relates to the adaptation you want to get out of it.
Yeah.
And what feels right and what feels wrong. Like, going back to what you said at the ladder raises, I'm always around that 12 to 15 mark. But with a bench press, I'm generally around that 5 rep range, wherever it's 4 to 6. Just because it feels right.
Yeah.
Because if I want to get a good pump out of my arms, I'm not stopping at 5 reps. Like, obviously, I could go heavier.
Oh, yeah.
And do like 30 kilo curls. For me, that's pretty hard for 5 reps.
You can do 30 kilo curls.
For like max 5 reps.
Yeah.
If that. The form would probably be shit. But this is what feels right. It's to do lighter weight, to get that pump. And then for going back to power, I know I'm explaining this all over the shop, but if we want to get the adaptation of power, we generally want it to be done quick, at a really good intensity, like med ball slams. We don't really want anything more than 5 generally.
No.
Just because you want that thing done well, and you want them to do it with intent.
Yeah, a good rule of thumb for speed, strength and power is as soon as the intensity starts to drop, that's when you stop. Because if you're a pretty easy example would be like doing repeat vertical jumps, and if you're doing your first 4 or 5 and you're jumping 30 centimeters high, and then 4th one's 30 centimeters high and 5th one drops to like 20 centimeters, then you're not working on speed and power anymore.
Yeah.
You're moving into another kind of realm. So as soon as that intent and intensity starts to drop, then it's like, okay, stop the set. That's an easy way to figure out how to work out speed and power, really.
Yeah, 100%. And then for like, that's perfect way to describe it for them. And then for gaining muscle, like the main thing is obviously training close to failure.
Yeah.
Like your brain's not going to be like, oh, okay, because we did 5 reps, we can't gain muscle from that.
Yeah. Well, you got to think, how do you gain muscle? And then you're talking about literally like the amount of load you have on the bar, how close you work to failure, the time under tension, all these different factors contribute. And you have to have like a good dosage of everything. So if you're doing 2 reps, obviously you're not going to have much time under tension.
Yeah.
But you are going to be pushing the load seriously hard.
Yeah.
And then if you're doing 35 reps on an exercise, you're going to have heaps of time. Your muscle's going to be under tension for ages, but you're not going to be having enough load to provide like enough of a stimulus to build muscle.
Yeah, like the first 15 reps aren't going to be effective.
Yeah, and that's why I wouldn't get anyone to build muscle for like any more than 20 reps, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't see any point. And the 20 reps would be for exercises, like you said, like arms, shoulders, those like more little intricate exercises you do. But for your general lifting, it would be like less than 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much the ones that don't require too much technique behind it, you can do more reps. And then ones that, like a bench press, just cap it at 6, eh?
Yeah, but you would get gains if you did 15 reps.
Oh, 100, yeah, you'd get gains for sure.
You'd legit
Definitely.
There's no reason why the higher rep principle wouldn't apply to a bench press.
Nah, but
But you're right, it doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel right mentally. I can't accept it, I don't know.
But if you want to build muscle, just do whatever you haven't been doing. If you've just been doing like 15 reps for everything, start doing 5.
Yeah.
If you've just been doing like 4 to 5 reps for everything, start doing 10 reps. And just providing your body with that novel stimulus is going to provide you like an adaptation to build muscle.
Yeah, facts.
It's not like, you just don't fall into the trap of, high reps won't build muscle for me, according to the literature.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably not the best for building muscle, but if you've just been doing 6 to 8 reps for ages, if you start doing 15 for a block, you'll probably blow up.
And this is fun too.
Yeah.
Keeps training engaging. Jump.
Moving into potentially another dummy topic, tripods in gyms in public. What do you reckon?
Yeah, see, I don't mind it. Like, there's a lot of hate people get from tripods purely because they just think of influencers. And yes, influencers can be annoying and people do get triggered by them. But either people use tripods just because they want to, either one, to post on Instagram. They're coaches like us. We just need to post content. Or they're just looking at their technique. Like, I think filming yourself for lifts is severely underrated for a technique standpoint.
Definitely. Even for me as a PT, like, we watch people do stuff in real time, and with the naked eye, I'm not too bad at looking at stuff.
Yeah.
But honestly, sometimes I need to stop and record someone and then watch it with them and slowly look through it and go, okay, that's the exact position where we started to go wrong.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't see that with the naked eye. Like, it's completely fine when you do filming of like running technique, sprinting technique, jumping technique, but apparently it's not okay when you're filming someone just doing like a weightlifting type exercise.
And people get annoyed because like they just instantly think of influencers.
Yeah.
And especially if it's a busy gym, like they don't want to get seen in the camera, which is fair enough. But if they just stop for a second and realise that a lot of them aren't actually just posting it for the gram.
Yeah.
They're just posting it to better themselves. They're probably a bit more respectful of it.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I felt like an absolute nunce when I pulled out a tripod for the first time in the gym.
Yeah, I still do.
Because I associated that with
influencers.
But even for as long as I can remember, if I saw someone recording in the gym, I was like, whatever, I didn't care. And something that's hell annoying, I think, in gyms, is you'll see someone recording themselves and people will just walk like directly in front of them. Yeah. There's a big difference between walking in front of someone's camera, like just because you're unaware and you don't really know, and purposely doing it to piss them off.
It's annoying.
Like, if you're purposely doing it to piss them off, that's just like rat behaviour. If you accidentally walk in front of somebody's camera, whatever, you accidentally did it. And I think the exact same thing is when someone's recording themselves, someone walks through their camera accidentally and they get pissed off at it. Yeah. It's like, dude, you don't fucking own the gym. Yeah. You don't own the gym. So, like, that person accidentally walked through your camera. Who cares?
Yeah, facts.
You know? I think the exact same thing when someone deliberately is walking through someone's camera and it's like, and they get pissed off about it. Like, walk around, bro. How does this have any effect on you whatsoever?
Yeah, I don't know why this triggers me.
Yeah. See it with, like, legit, sometimes you see it with girls and, like, bulk dudes will just, like, be pissed off and mumbling and rambling about them filming and walk through their shit.
And that person's doing nothing to them at all.
Like, what you as a big, massive dude, what reaction are you trying to get from this girl? Like, what to feed your ego? I don't understand what you're trying to get out of this person by, like,
strange.
Annoying them. But, yeah.
Sometimes I still do feel bad, like, getting the tripod out. But I generally just try to put it... I always like to film in an area that's a bit quieter. Sometimes you can't really help where you film if you're using a certain piece of equipment. Yeah. Or try to go in a corner of some sort so that there's less people in the background.
Yeah, you always try to get out of people's way if possible, but sometimes you can't, and it's just modern time. Like, it's just the world now, really.
Especially where we're working, because it's a busy gym. Yeah. Like the Revo we're in, especially at peak time, is quite popular, and you can't really do much about it.
Nothing better than pulling out the camera peak hour and just...
Especially with the mic, with the background music and the background noise. It's good, eh?
But, yeah, I think tripods and gyms overall, like, fine, I guess. Yeah. Whatever. But besides the reasons we just explained where you got super annoying people.
And... filming yourself for a technique standpoint is severely underrated.
Yeah, it depends the context. Like, what's the context? Like, why is someone recording themselves? And very, like you said, very, very rarely are they, like, doing it for bad reasons. It's usually to show technique or just to watch their own form or to, like, film something. It's never coming from, like, a real... Because as soon as you see their tripod, you think, like, ego, pretty much.
And people have so much hate on it. Like, I don't like that gym because there's so many people with tripods.
Yeah.
It's like, stop for a second and think about why they're doing that.
But I could imagine being in like a gym in America, and there's just influencers everywhere, literally just sucking their own dicks bone dry.
Yeah, it would be annoying from that standpoint.
But then where do you think you draw the line in terms of recording at the gym? Like, would you vlog there? If you have good intent, you don't have ill intent, would you?
Yeah.
Because I feel weird vlogging. Even when I went to Melbourne and I was vlogging, like, even in front of people, I knew I kind of didn't want to do it. So I'd hide away. Whereas, like, what am I doing? I'm literally just showing people the event I'm at and talking about sports science principles that I think are involved with it.
When you watch someone's vlog that you like, you never think about...
Yeah.
Like, you're glad they did it because you're enjoying their content.
Yeah, I think that's where it's good when you see, like, for example, David Gray just released a vlog. Ned Brockman just released a vlog where they're just literally talking about what they're doing. But not from a like, oh, look at me, look how good I am, look how much better I am than you kind of point of view. It's more so like, this is literally just what I'm doing.
Yeah. Even David Gray yesterday put up a story about, he was just talking about his programs, but he was at a park, and I actually thought about this. It was like, imagine being there and just seeing David Gray talking about his programs.
Yeah. No one would know.
Nah, no one would know, but people might find that weird, but because he's successful and he's a very good coach, you don't really think anything of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Just talking to a camera in general is strange, definitely at first. 100%. And then all you try, it's literally like riding, but instead you're just talking to a camera and filming it.
And what about when you don't get your first take?
Oh,
it's downhill from there, eh?
If you don't get your first take, you're literally screwed because you got to be one take king.
And then you stuff up once and then you just think about it.
Morning routines, fan, not a fan? What are your thoughts?
So I used to love them, but now it's pretty hard as a PT to have a morning routine because every morning is kind of different. Like, you can have a 6 a.m. client, you can have and then the next day you can have your first one's at 9 a.m. But I do think they're underrated, especially for people, I don't know, who work a 9 to 5 and every day is the same. I think a morning routine is really good and does set you up.
Yeah, I think that's pretty severely underrated. Like you said, if I wasn't a PT and I had like when I did have a normal job back in the day, I had a routine.
Yeah, and it went well for you.
But best routine, literally the best time, I reckon I did it for like at least a year, but the best time was in the peak of winter. My routine was wake up, walk outside in the freezing cold and just hang off a bar for like a minute to 2 minutes, just in me jocks. After that, I would go back into the bathroom, have a freezing cold shower because we had rainwater tank.
Yeah.
So the water would be freezing cold. I'd have the shower for like a minute or two, depending on how I feel, sometimes even less. After that, I'd go into like the kitchen / dining room and there'd be like a 2 by 1 meter space of like free area. And I wouldn't turn the lights on because the missus was in the other room, so I didn't want to wake her up.
Respect.
So I would literally exercise in this small little space, just do like usually a core mobility type workout.
Yeah.
And between my resting, I would make breakfast, which I remember for 8 months, I had the most disgusting breakfast. It was satay tofu,
yuck,
steamed vegetables with no seasoning, and rice. And then after about 6 months, I started putting Nando's peri-peri sauce on it.
That would have been a game changer, that peri sauce.
Oh yeah, but I literally can never eat it again. And that was my routine. I'd train and make brekkie in the dark. Once I finished, I'd literally get ready, put my clothes on, get in the car, and then eat my breakfast on the way to work. And I did that every morning.
How much time did you have?
Like 25 minutes, 30 minutes probably.
So that's pretty good to do all that.
I would wake up at like 5:20, and then I would, leave the house by like 5:45, 5:50.
That's pretty good to do all that.
But it was what a dumb routine. But at the same time, it kind of made me feel good. And it was because it was a routine. That's why I got all that done. And every morning I got out at the same time on the way to work. I'd exercised, did some like cold exposure bullshit, and I'd be off to work every morning, all attributed to the morning routine.
Yeah, and that's when it's really good. I used to have, when I was doing my 9 to 5, shout out, I'd always go to the gym, not every day, but I'd mostly go to the gym in the morning at 5 a.m.
Corporate hours there, eh?
Get into the city by about 8:30. So that's about 3 hours from getting to the gym to starting work. It took me an hour to get to work. But that set me up because then when I got home in the harbour, I didn't have to go train.
Yeah.
I was pretty chill, I was done. And it's just a good way to start the day.
Yeah.
But obviously now we can't really do that as PTs. Every morning is different.
Last year when I wasn't getting as much morning work, I had a little routine where I would wake up, I would go for like a 10-15 minute walk, and then I would study language for 20 minutes, and then I would start my day. But that luxury just doesn't exist. Like I'm literally starting 6 a.m. every day pretty much now. So it's like,
but then
my morning routine's terrible now. My morning routine is like literally my alarm goes off, I'll look directly at my phone, put on music hell loud and my flashlight, and I'll just lay there until I can get up. It's the worst routine I've ever had in my life. I've been needing to change it desperately.
Why don't you just get up?
I don't have it in me, man. Like, I don't know.
You just got to get up.
I literally look at the ceiling and I'm like, fuck, man, this is going to be a big one.
In saying that though, when I have like morning clients, it sets me up well for the day, I find.
Yeah.
Compared to starting at like 8 or 9 a.m. Like obviously I could, if I don't have morning clients, I could just wake up early and just rip out the laptop and work for 2 hours. But it doesn't happen as good if I have a client at 6 or 7 a.m.
Yeah, how good is it honestly though when, I mean it's a bad thing when you have like a 5 a.m. cancel on you, but then you're awake and you're like, oh fuck, I may as well get to work.
It is good for the aspect of just grinding.
Yeah.
Because I can get into a flow state when that happens.
Yeah, when you wake up early, you get into flow state heaps easier, hey? Because there's no distractions. Everyone's asleep.
And you're already up. So you're like, I've accepted that I'm up. And then you just make the most of it.
Yeah.
And I've done that a fair few times. And you just work. You just, like, your client cancels, but then you just do 2 hours of non-stop work.
Yeah, so what's that telling us? That's telling us that we should wake up early every day.
Yeah, that morning routines are good.
Yeah, but I just want to finish off on this note. Like, if you have the opportunity to have a morning routine, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And people that shit on morning routines, you don't need a morning routine. No one needs anything. You don't need anything at all. But that doesn't say that it's better for productivity and it's an advantageous thing to do to have a morning routine.
100%. Especially for people that say, oh, I don't have time to train.
Yeah. And
they're working 9 to 5. It's like, let's just get up an hour earlier.
I know I feel dog shit when I wake up and I just stare at my phone and don't do much. Like, I feel terrible. I feel way worse than if I went outside, went for a walk and like read or something like that. Or exercised.
Yeah, so true.
This episode is powered by SJs, training, community, and everything in between for only $1 a day. Check out our free 7-day free trial now.
Funeral playlist. So what songs would you have at your funeral? I'm talking like the introductory song, like when they're showing the pictures of you and then when they're lowering your coffin.
Okay, I like the vibes to be up, but then I also like want a song that like kind of hits you in the feels. And one that is a classic, Forever Young.
Oh, that's a classic song for a funeral.
Especially for a funeral, Forever Young. And so I always think about that with Phil Hughes, because they played that Phil Hughes when we lost a great cricketer. That was an iconic song. And so that's a really good song. And
Are we talking about the cover one or the original one? There's two of them.
Oh.
You might be thinking of the cover.
Yeah, the cover.
I prefer that one.
No, the cover is a better one, because I didn't actually know that there was original.
Yeah.
I thought that was the original, and then I heard the original and I was like, nah, this kind of feels like the cover.
Yeah.
You know, no offense to the original artist.
I remember when Luca came over, he was playing songs and he was playing the original, and I says to him, you know there's a better version of this.
Yeah.
Like,
was it
why
Forever
are we
Young?
listening to this trash?
Yeah.
Is it what?
Was that Forever Young?
Yeah.
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 And then I'd like a song that gets everyone like up and about. Like maybe like Mask Off by Future.
Yeah.
It's like get everything up and about, like
Yeah.
go from one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
Because then that's like people remember you. Like it was a bit unusual, and that bam, just like the inner feels, and then just they're not ready for it.
Yeah.
But then you just hope that
I'd legit be there like mask off, man, like full dance,
and that's what I would want. That's what I would want. So
yeah.
and for another song, gee, I don't know, something along those vibes, like another upbeat song.
Yeah, cool.
What about you?
I'd have something off Dookie by Green Day.
Oh yeah.
And I forgot the name of the song. No, it's not Brain Stew. I can't remember what it is. It's their most famous song. I can't remember it. And when I'd get lowered in the coffin, I'd have the Hey by the Pixies as well, which is a sick song.
Hey.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably know if I heard it.
You'd know it's a sick song. And then I've always wanted, when I get lowered in my coffin, I want to be like lowered and there'd be like a smoke show and laser show and fireworks.
Yeah, respect.
And there's this Kanye song off his, off one of his, I'm literally having a mind blank of all the fucking things I'm trying to think of. That orange album he's got, Life of Pablo.
Oh,
there's
good
this song
song.
he's got with Chris
Good
Brown.
album, sorry.
There's a song he's got with Chris Brown where it's like, it's just a hell dumb song, and that's what I would have like while there's a laser show and shit like that in my
So people remember
casket dropping.
remember you for that final moment.
Oh yeah, and probably a sticky song, maybe Australia Street, just to pay some significance to my childhood.
Good song, that.
The awesome song,
Good film clip.
sick film clip. Sticky Fingers are severely underrated, I reckon, in the grand scheme of things. I know a few political things happen with them. But you can't take away how criminally good their music was when we were young.
So much talent.
Now that's a band where you'll play that music forever and you'll never get sick of it. It's unbelievable. Those Caress Your
I might
Soul,
actually
Land of
listen to them
Pleasure.
tonight.
Oh yeah,
I probably will now.
I will as well. So, have you ever seen on Instagram like videos where it's mostly done with like football, soccer, where they blind rank players? Blind rank means I'm just going to say players to you. So I've got 8 players here, and you have to blind rank them. So when I say one, you have to rank it from 1 through to 8, 1 being the best, 8 being the worst.
In what sport? AFL?
They're WA-based AFL players.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Josh Kennedy.
Oh. 3.
3. Okay. JK 3. That's good. Sarong.
Oh, he's still got so much to prove. So I'm basing off that too. Oh, I've got 4. Gee,
Do you understand the concept of this game or not? I'm just asking you now because
Strong's so good.
Okay.
But isn't it, because you're going to whip out some like...
Yeah, okay, ready? Kerr.
2.
Dude, you don't understand.
I do.
You've never seen one of these videos before.
Yeah.
Well, if you have, why the hell have you put Sarong and JK 3rd and 4th?
Well, fucking JK's a legend of Eagles.
Okay.
I don't think I should...
David Mundy.
You're 7. Legend. No disrespect.
You think JK and Sarong are better than Mundy by that much?
JK is, yeah.
Mundy played like 350.
Yeah, no, he's a gun. But I'm just waiting for the other players.
Oh, jeez, that's tough. All right. Cousins.
That's 1. Because you're gonna say 5.
Yeah. Pav.
Ugh.
And just to let you know,
There's
if
2 more.
You understand the concept of this game so well. You've got 5, 6, and 8 remaining. So Pav, where are you going to put him?
5.
Okay. Judd.
6.
5.
8.
So just to clarify, you did understand the concept of the game. So why on earth would you put JK and Sarong 3rd and 4th?
Well, is this the timing you gave me?
What do you mean timing? You don't understand the game.
I do, cuz, but I didn't really think about it, and I love Josh Kennedy. I love him. He's the Eagles a legend.
All right, we'll put this up here somewhere, but
Yeah, obviously
that's a sick list, though.
It's a really good list.
How
It's pretty hard.
How do you reckon you went out of 10? Cousins, Kerr, JK, Sarong, Pav, Judd, Mundy, and then 8th of the list 5.
Yeah, you could reorder that list 100%. If you're doing a draft, you'd for 1 to 8, you would definitely reorder that.
Yeah.
I acknowledge that. But I love Josh Kennedy, so I was always going to put it.
So basically, you just shit at this game.
Okay, if you want to think that, yeah.
Do I want to objectively? I don't think you.
Why do you know the players, cuz?
That's the point of the game, man. The point of the game is that you don't know the players. You have to strategically place them.
Yeah, it's a hard game.
I'll give you another one sometime soon, but
Okay.
we'll let the people decide whether that's a good list or not. Yeah, we've just got one more segment.
Over-unders?
Over and unders.
Over-unders. Okay. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Exercise. Rear foot split squat.
Bulgarian.
Yeah.
Yeah, underrated.
I've seen a lot of smoke on it recently, saying it's overrated
Why?
purely because people just get frustrated on it because like they lose balance.
Hold on to something?
Yeah, they struggle to load it. This is
What?
this is just what I've seen on Instagram. It's not coming
Jesus.
from my mouth. It's just,
Okay, so let's debunk that.
People just don't.
You're struggling to stabilize yourself. Hold on to something that's stable. You're struggling to load it. Put a weight vest on. Hold some external load in your opposing hand.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, I
just what I
think it's underrated. I think it's underrated. It blasts the lights out of your legs, firstly. So fatiguing. Also, one of the most key parts of it being underrated is the amount of effort it takes to do it with body weight.
Yeah.
In COVID, when we couldn't go to gyms, I spammed them, and they fucked me with no way. You can't do that with many other exercises.
Yeah, I agree. Sport, the beer mile. Are you familiar with it?
The what?
It's called the beer mile.
BM mile.
Beer.
What's that?
So it's a mile race, 1,600 metres, and every 400 metres, you got to have a beer.
I don't know. I've never heard of it. I'm going to say underrated, I guess.
And
it's pretty cool by the sound of
the
it.
question, should we do it for SJs?
Yeah, let's do it. That's a good idea.
I think I have my favourites on Aaron Tyne.
Oh, you reckon? Yeah. Oh, you're talking about everyone do it.
Yeah. Oh, no, it was us, obviously, it smoked me. But
no, I'm talking about in general, just a race. It's not always a race against somebody else. Sometimes it can just be a battle against yourself.
Yeah, true.
You know,
I think
your biggest enemy.
I think we should do it as a race one time.
That sounds good.
And we could just put it on the spot on a Saturday morning. Straight
You reckon? That would be cool.
We'd have to give people a bit of warning not to drive and that.
Yeah.
And then random, we've kind of touched base on it, but it's a bit opposite. Nighttime routine.
Yeah, criminally underrated.
I
You
agree.
set yourself up for poor preparation calls for poor execution, and if you're very prepared the evening before your next day, it really sets you up well, I think. Plus, sleep's extremely crucial for living efficiency. So why on earth would you not try to capitalize on that and utilize some other kind of mechanisms and interventions to help you sleep?
Yeah, I agree. I found when I was sleeping the best, I was reading 15 minutes before I went to bed. I was doing that every night.
Yeah.
And then I finished the book, I just haven't done it since. So I should bring that back.
Yeah, I was sleeping 2-3 hours a night at one stage in my life, and I've gone from that to sleeping 6 to 8, and I can attribute it completely to a bedtime routine.
Yeah.
Completely. So yeah, it's criminally underrated.
This pod is powered by SJ's Community, where lifting, laughing, and living better all collide. Check out our 7-day free trial via the show notes or in our Instagram.
All right, let's get into some questions. Also, just want to mention shouts out to Jack Allen, SJ's member. He's probably going to be pretty disappointed with your blind rankings, but...
Yeah, sorry, Jack. I'd like to rethink that ranking if I did it again.
Yeah.
I do have respect for Fife. Great player.
And Pav being fifth.
Pav, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd still take JK over Pav, though, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's a wrong opinion. All right, fans, questions. If you have any questions, just DM us, comment on the podcast or the video on YouTube, and we're happy to answer them. We'll start off with an international question with question 1 from Strahinja in Serbia. Fantastic bloke. His question is, do you have any back exercises for warming up my upper back? It hurts when I wake up in the morning. So...
What, for the gym? Or like, just for the morning?
For the morning and a little bit for the gym. Firstly, I'm going to go past the exercise part and I'm going to say, have a look at what you're sleeping on.
Yeah.
Because it could be like an average pillow, to be honest. I'm not a sleep specialist or anything, but...
Or does the bed itself?
When you're asleep for 8 hours, like you're in specific positions, right? And if you don't have a pillow to help put you in good positions, then you might wake up with a bit of a sore back.
Yeah.
But he says he gets a lot of tightness in his back from sitting down a lot all day. So I would just say, try to move that scapula as much as possible. Protract as much as possible, retract as much as possible. Try to protract it and get a lot of air into that back. So for example, when you're doing a row or a lat pull down, when you actually reach with that arm, breathe in through the nose. I think try to push air into your upper back and try to stretch that whole area out and just get it moving really well, pretty much.
And use handle attachments on the cable row instead of the V-bar or whatever it's called.
Yeah, because the V-bar makes you really stiff, yeah.
And hanging, I know it's more for shoulders, but it feels so good.
That is, underappreciated hanging. If I was in your position, I would legit try to hang.
Because you can hang anyway. Don't need to do off in the gym or anything.
Yeah, as long as you got like even a tree branch or something to hang off. But yeah, the hanging and just breathing. You just really want to loosen that area up and get it moving properly. You don't want it to be like really tight and be holding a lot of tension in that upper back.
Yeah, facts.
But yeah, you could potentially, it could be, I know you love doing chest, so it could be doing a lot of like stiff chest exercises where you've like retracted your scapula, pushed your shoulders back, and you're kind of pushing in this motion instead of just allowing yourself to really reach forward and back with the arms and the back, yeah. But the hanging's the most important part. You hit the nail on the head there. Anything else to that question?
No, I think we covered it there.
All right. Question 2 from Stiffler.
Oh, Big Stiffy.
Skiffington.
Skippo.
He ushers himself out of Rockingham now. I believe he used to live in Golden Bay, but now he's from Rockingham.
That Mandy, he's a Mandra boy.
Is he? But he lives in Rocco now.
He lives in Rocco now.
Oh, we're doxing him a bit here.
Yeah, we are a bit. I used to swim with him, but he's a household name in Rocco. Everyone seems to know Skippo.
Especially when he got that haircut as well. He looks good now.
Yeah, he looks real sharp.
It's good because he's getting a nice little shout out in this potty, but he's probably not even going to listen to it.
Yeah, he probably won't.
His question is, how much of a calorie deficit can you safely be in without jeopardising things like sleep and performance? And I know that by all means I'm not great with nutrition and diet. However, based off my limited knowledge, I believe it's like around 10% of a deficit. So it's very small.
Everyone always recommends, very small, like depending on where you want to get to and what your goals are. But no one really recommends around 500 grams of weight lost a week. So that's around
like a
500 calories deficit a day, which equals to about 500 grams for the week.
Is that 500 grams? Oh, 500 grams for the week?
Yeah.
Really? That little?
Yeah. That's what the recommended is. But that's really small.
Based off
if you want to
matter how many calories you're taking in? Like, for example, your caloric baseline might be like 2,000 where somebody else's might be like 2,800. Is it still 500 grams for both?
Well, that's just always been like the recommended. Especially if you want to lose weight, where you don't want to, like, it doesn't want to be too, where you can't maintain it. It's going from one extreme to the other, and you still want to feel all right. It's generally around 500 grams.
Yeah.
500 grams to a kilo. But if you want to lose 500 grams, it's around a 500 cal deficit off your maintenance.
A day?
For the day.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought you said a week before and I was like, what?
No, sorry, for the day.
Yeah, okay.
500 calories deficit for the day equals to about 500 grams.
Of fat loss a week.
Yeah, fat loss a week.
Yeah, you want to be real incremental with it if you're talking about not jeopardizing things like sleep and performance.
You just want to play around with it. Everyone's different.
Yeah.
So just try it out smaller. If you're finding it's working, stick to it. If you feel like you go a bit more aggressive, give it a try. But because you can always...
How aggressive do you reckon most people can go before they start to see like real changes in their performance and sleep?
A few kilos, a couple of kilos a week.
Yeah. A couple of kilos is a lot to lose a week.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But it all depends on who you are, how much you weigh. Like someone who's carrying more weight compared to someone who's quite fit already and just wants to... For example, in Skiffo's case, he trains a lot. If he lost a fair bit pretty soon, it'll probably impact him more. Yeah. Compared to someone who's overweight and just wants to lose weight, you know what I mean?
Yeah, is he cutting or is he bulking? I swear he's always cutting or bulking, eh? Dude's in like diet limbo.
Yeah, legit.
Just chill.
Chill out for a bit, Skiff.
But if you are worried about performance dropping when you're in a caloric deficit, like what are some things that you can do to kind of prevent that? I basically just say the basics, like just give your body a reason to maintain muscle and performance. So that's the most important thing I think when you're in a caloric deficit is, if you're worried about losing muscle or losing performance, just give your body a reason not to. So keep placing the demands on it. In terms of performance, keep lifting heavy and keep the intensity high, but just limit the volume.
And ensure your protein's up.
Yeah.
You need good protein.
Because otherwise, if you keep the volume but drop the intensity, then your body's like, oh, well, I just need to get better with this endurance. I don't really need to continue being able to be this strong, this fast. So I'll just drop this like extra baggage, quote unquote, muscle. Yeah. Yeah. This is a good one. Question 3. I'm 15 and I play basketball, but I'm quite short and so are my parents. What should I focus on to compete being vertically challenged with other taller players?
Just get good at hops, build your strength.
If anybody can answer this question as you, playing fucking rec ball, being 4 foot, how tall are you?
4'3".
4'3".
Yeah.
So what do you think, just get the...
Get good at moving. Yeah. So do your plyos, get really good at jumping, and then just build that strength up so you can be a bit more physical. And then obviously if you want to talk about actual basketball, get good at shooting.
I would argue skills.
Of course.
I would argue, you have to be super quick and super shifty. You have to be, otherwise you won't make it. Yeah. But that means nothing if you're not skillful. You'll never see a dude in the NBA that's 6 foot that's not skillful as shit.
Yeah. Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Look at him, like he's so skillful.
So skillful. And
in terms of the actual sport, just get really good at it.
You have to get really, really good at handling the ball and shooting.
Yeah. Become a really good handler of the ball, pass well, get really good at shooting, and then in terms of
the actual like physical qualities that you need, you got to be quick and you got to be swifty. Yeah. You basically have to be able to move around full speed while handling the ball. Like
facts.
Otherwise, you're just gonna get rolled. There's that Japanese dude that's literally like 5'8" or something in the NBA. I think he played for the team that Ja Morant plays for. Forgot the name of them.
Timberwolves?
No, Grizzlies.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, he plays for the Grizzlies, but you watch him and he's just super explosive, super fast, awesome ball handler. Yeah. Yeah, you're not going to be able to compete with people unless you're super shifty.
You can't be a log.
No. You can't get away with not having good skills at all, especially in the NBA now. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter how tall you are.
Well, so, look at Luka and look at, what's his name?
Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, like, they're tall, but they got skill.
Yeah.
They're good shooters.
So, yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, all the tall people are just super skillful now. So, you just got to, shifty, fast, insanely good mover, and then you've just got to be literally ridiculously good at skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just put it in the hard yards. Just train.
Yeah, pretty much.
Train and play.
But it's not impossible at all.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shorter guys out there who are really good.
But it does piss me off, like, especially with AFL, loads of players you'll hear don't get drafted because they're short. And how does that, like, if you've got the skills and the capabilities to perform against other elite players, what's that got to do with your height?
Yeah.
And then time and time again, you see players like Caleb Daniel.
Nick Watson.
Yeah, Nick Watson, who are dominating at times in the AFL, and they're short, they're tiny.
Yeah. And they're really skillful.
Yeah, I don't know if all
Quick
these
movers.
scouts are like 6'6" or something, but why are they the people to say like, oh yeah, you're too short, so you can't compete?
Yeah.
Well, prime example is Dono. I reckon he's legit like one of the best footy players I've ever seen, and probably didn't get a good enough look in just because of his height.
Yeah, facts.
But then he's played waffle for 10 years and dominated at times.
The kick forward the other day.
Yeah, could easily have played AFL, but just the short thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, quick, shifty is what you have to focus on. Lateral speed, lateral agility is like really crucial. And then just being able to get in and under, and like, the problem is someone short to put up a layup, they've got like a fraction of the amount of time as someone tall has to put up a layup, because you've only got a small window as to where you can't get blocked.
Yeah, facts.
So you've got to get in there, shifty as hell, and then as soon as you're in there, you'll have like the smallest split second to actually perform that skill.
Put a shot up.
Yeah. Same with shooting it from a distance and from outside the arc and stuff like that. You'll get closed out so much easier.
If you're short, talking from experience, as soon as you go put the shot up, someone's like standing like 2 meters away, and you think you can put the shot up, but their reach just over you is just crazy.
And honestly, like that, Chris Paul's size difference in comparison to Nikola Jokic is like probably the same as us.
Yeah.
So it's not that it's not that much of a crazy thought.
Yeah.
You know, when you say you get closed out real easy, he's facing people with similar height. Like him and Wemby, they would have a bigger height discrepancy than you and me.
Especially Wemby's arms, man.
Yeah, and that shows how good these short dudes are at playing basketball and how skillful and agile and athletic they are.
Yeah.
But that's it.
That's a wrap. Thank you. Nah. If you want good training, isn't this a wrap?
It is a wrap, yeah.
This is a wrap. Thank you. If you want good training, hit our show notes. We can get access to us, everyone else, and you get 7 days of free training.
Yeah.
I messed that up a bit, but yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Let's play that. Thank you. Yeah, nice.
Yep.
That was good. That was a good podcast, yep.